Let's see if we're all right. We're on. So we have another. What's my clock say? Oh, still got people coming in. Another minute or so. This is great. For those of you that joined, thank you. We're looking forward to this dialogue. I hate to say conversation, but dialogue. I think it's I've been looking forward to it. So I'm glad that we're going to be hearing about this today. I think a lot of other people are too. They're zooming on in here. Let me get to the. Every time I want to go to slide 3. I'll do that. See, look at that. I can't even get to them fast enough. They're all coming in. Oh, and I see my alignment got out of whack on something. Oh, jeez. No matter how you try. All right. It being the hour of 8 o'clock, I'll keep admitting people as they come in, but we're going to call this meeting to order, and I don't want to deafen myself, which I just did. Nice to see everybody. We're thrilled. We're going to do things a little bit differently in terms of our speakers actually going to do the invocation today. So Josh, take it away.
All right. So this is from the Sikh Bible, Sikh holy book called the Guru Granth Sahib. It's from our 5th Guru. So I'll quickly read it in Gurumukhi, which is the language it's written in, and then translate it away. Shri Rag Mahalla Pehla Kar Panjwa Achal Chalaiye Chale Nahi Gahu Kathra Kar Sakhe Jyon Sahib Rakhe Tyon Rahiye Is Lobi Ka Jyon Tal Pale Bin Tel Diva Kyun Jale Rahao Othi Puran Kamaiye Pau Vati It Ta Paiye Sach Pujan Aan Jalaiye ए तेल दीवा यूं जले कर चाहा साहिब तू मलाई रहाओ ए तां लगे बनिया सुख होवे सेव कमानिया सब दुनिया आवण जावण विच दुनिया सेव कमाइए तों दरग बेसन पाइए कहो नानक पे लुडियां. So in the Sikh holy book, the Guru Granth Sahib is all written in poetic form, and it's meant to be sung in hymns. So this is from the 5th Guru, Guru Arjan Dev Ji, essentially saying that as we in this world try to look for that which is righteous, which is good, which is pure, in this world that is maybe darkened by greed and lust and hatred, the only way for us to find that pureness is to have light which can push away the darkness, and allow us to see that which is good in this world. And so he questions, well, how do I get that light? And that light is we have to light up a lamp, and the lamp will provide the light. But then how do I get the oil to within the lamp to light, to get that flame? So he's saying that the oil, the fuel through which we can fire, bring up this light is earned through selfless deeds. The only way you can earn that oil is to through the help of others. In Sikhi, the term is called Sarbat Ka Pala. Sarbat means all humanity. Pala is the good wishes, wishing the best for all of humanity. So our job is to do these selfless deeds, and essentially earn our oil, and that's how we will push away this darkness that always surrounds us, the negativity of human society. So, and I know, that's the mission of Rotary is selfless, selfless work and for the benefit of really our neighbors, or for everybody. So that was today's message.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll be hearing more from him in just a few. I wanted to actually utilize the slides that I've been doing, if I can. Not always possible. I'm going to hop to club celebrations. Pardon the misalignment of Sandy and Gary's anniversary one, but we have birthdays. This week it was Dave Klusky on the 22nd, and will be Bill Morgan's tomorrow. Gary and Sandy's anniversary was on the 21st. You can read Ben and Jen Wilibinski on the 25th, busy day on the 25th. And DG, John, and his lovely wife, Karen, their anniversary is on the 26th. How they're going to fit that in with everything, I have no clue. Our speaker, ta-da, we'll be hearing from him shortly. And then upcoming club and district activities. So yesterday, today, and tomorrow are zones 28 and 32, free virtual leadership summit. The link was sent to you last night by Juliet. Hop on it. There was a phenomenal presentation last night. Out of the three, this was the top on, I don't want to say systemic racism. I don't want to do that, but on the topic of everything that's been happening across the United States, and how Rotary is really working to become a force of positivity in this time. This Saturday, I'm kind of looking forward to this. Being from Philly, we don't have a lot of farms down there, is the social outing to Stover Farms. So if you haven't registered, I'll be sending my slides out to everybody along with Dashers. If you could send them to me too, that would be great.
Sure, absolutely.
Forward them out to everybody. It's going to be a good time. What isn't on there yet, because it's hot off the press, will be Friday night, October 23rd, Rotary night at the drive-in, at the Cumberland Drive-in in Carlisle, between Carlisle and Newville. We're leaning towards showing Jurassic World. Somehow seeing a big dinosaur like that on a big drive-in, it'd be kind of freaky. But it's a family-oriented night. We're going to be having a couple food trucks there, we hope. $20 a car. We can have 300 cars, so you'll be able to practice social distancing. All information will be coming out, but put it now on your calendar. It is one of our fundraisers for this year. In this time of a pandemic, we're trying to be as creative and CDC correct as we possibly can be. So we're looking for October 23rd. Invite your friends, your families, bring different cars. It'll be a great time. We're looking forward to that. What's the next one? Oh, yes. And then Christmas, I know you got an email from, or should be getting an email from Brian Peters and Steph Ackery shortly about the Christmas poinsettias, and I know hard to imagine, wreaths. So think about that. But we also send information out on New Hope Ministries. We are providing them $500 to help with their Christmas Blessings Express, which for those people who don't know about it, is a chance for them to have the guests that they serve be able to go Christmas shopping from items that are donated from the community or that New Hope buys for those items. So you might have a family of four go shopping, and they'll have a limited amount of what they can get: clothes, pots and pans, toys, things like that. If you've not ever been through it, it puts everything in perspective as to what we are blessed to have and what some people do not have. Check out the letter. See what you can do to help, and it would be greatly appreciated if you could. It's near and dear to my heart because I used to help with it. And then we'll end with that, but we're not going to do that yet. So I'm going to take it off share. So Dalton, you're on. Oh wait, Iqbal, are you on the line? I didn't see him. Did he? All right, let me introduce, if Iqbal's not here, let me introduce our speaker today is, now do you want to go by, I have two names for you, Dalton. What's on your screen under your name and what I have on paper. Which is it? Is it
Dalsher Singh is just fine.
Okay. Let me tell you a little bit about him. Professionally, he works alongside his brother, father, and mother in their family business of a trucking company and several small gas stations and fast food locations. His wife does work for Highmark, which is a cool place to work for. He is the secretary of the Sikh Society. Did I pronounce that right?
Yep,
That's going
absolutely.
to be a lesson you're going to teach us too. The Sikh Society of Harrisburg. He's lived in Pennsylvania for the past 24 years and gone from Perry County to Juniata to Union County and most presently in Cumberland County. So he's exceptionally comfortable in creating dialogue with people who are curious to know about this distinct appearance when they see him and other people, nearly always regarding the turban. But over that course of 24 years, he's come to find that having simple conversations really is the best towards clearing any misconceptions or general lack of knowledge. So we are delighted to have you join us and look forward to conversations today and to come.
I very much appreciate it, and I appreciate the opportunity. And as I was saying, this is my first time, formally giving a presentation. So, but regardless, I'll keep it very informal and in a dialogue format. So, so we'll just quickly go through the general faith, and I'll wind it down into kind of Sikhs in the U.S. and currently in Central PA. That in the top right, you'll see a little logo. It says "We Are Sikhs." I was working with a campaign that was started a couple of years ago called the National Sikh Campaign, and it was essentially a couple of people kind of got together and said, "Hey, how do we better have this dialogue of Sikhs, across the U.S. and how do we, in the most convenient channel, try to explain who Sikhs are without, without too much information and in a simple manner." So they thought, media is certainly the best outlet, and so they, worked with a bunch of firms to kind of gather data about what's known about Sikhs in the U.S. They kind of picked random cities throughout the U.S. and once they got that data, they derived kind of the best ways to get information about the faith out and kind of the questions most people had. So they're actively working on getting advertisements out during Monday Night Football and just in national media, but in a very simple and concise way. So a lot of this information I got through them. But so Sikhism, it's the world's fifth largest religion in terms of numbers. Sikh, the word itself means student. So we are forever learning. As humans, we're always trying to learn, and that's our purpose as members of the Sikh faith. There's nearly 1 million Sikhs living in the U.S. Canada is there's probably almost 3 million Sikhs in Canada. It's the language of Punjabi, where Punjab is a state where Sikhism was founded. I think it's the third most spoken language. They actually do NHL games, hockey night in Canada games in Punjabi. So I've gotten a chance to watch a couple of those. But the religion itself is based on 3 very simple principles: kirt karo, naam japo, and vand shako. Just as not just a Sikh, as a member of humanity, you should earn an honest living. We pray and remember God at all times. And then the biggest thing is vand shako, which means give back to those in need, in whatever capacity, whether that's service or financial assistance, however that you can do that. So Sikhism started in northern India. Punjab is the state, and it's still a state in present-day India, one of the largest states there. 1469 and 1699. So 1469, the first guru of Sikhism, Guru Nanak Dev Ji, was born in 1469. So in the grand scheme of religions, it's 1469 is what I grew up remembering as when Columbus set sail. So it's not a very old religion, and there were a total of 10 gurus, living gurus, that passed on guruship to each other. So 1699 is ultimately when the religion came into official formation. 1699 is when the 10th and final living guru, decided to formalize everything. Guru Nanak Dev Ji is the image on the left side, and the 10th Guru, Guru Gobind Singh, is on the right side. And the idea was that at that time and presently, India was the primary religions there were Hinduism, which is still the major religion of India, and Islam was coming in kind of from the Middle East, and their empires were reaching down into India, and so both of those the religions at the time, the leaders of those religions at the time were actively trying to gain territory, and gaining territory meant converting the people of that land into their respective religion. So the idea was that as humans, there's really, God is not Hindu, God is not a Muslim, Islam, God is not Sikh, God is beyond all of this. So there's a new thinking pattern has to emerge out of this. So the 10th guru eventually said, or there's not going to be any more living gurus. We will have an 11th final eternal guru, which is our holy book, the Guru Granth Sahib. It's 1430 pages of the writings of the gurus from their times, and it's through we read the hymns out of the Guru Granth Sahib, and it's composed of not just the writings of the 10 gurus, but many other faith leaders at that time, saints from those faiths, saints that had maybe been ostracized from their faith because their thinking was on a more global humanity level instead of strict to their religion. So, but it was in line with the thinking of the gurus. Key tenets of Sikhism, and this, when I informally have this conversation, I usually start with this because I genuinely believe the tenets of almost every faith in the world, the foundation of nearly every religion is the same, and it all teaches us how to be a good person in every way. So and it's always reminding us to take actions which better ourselves and better our neighbors. So key tenets of Sikhism, it's monotheistic, so a belief in one universal God that has created everything. Our purpose, and when we go to church or temple, is to remember God in every action we do, share with others. So that picture on the right, Sikhism has a concept called langar, which means open kitchen, and it means at that time it was the idea that everybody's equal. There's no India is still ripe with the idea of caste system. So whatever caste you're born into, that will dictate your job, your social outlook. So there's a hierarchy, and Sikhism said the idea of the gurus was that doesn't make any sense. We're all born in the same process, and truly that's what I think a lot of religions dictate, is we're all equal. So langar is everybody sits on the floor, it doesn't matter who you are, and it's an idea of humility. Sikhs are meant to live honestly, so you work hard and honest living, and give some of that back to the community. All are equal. So gender, religion, race, it's the idea is everybody is the same. So and India is not just ripe with caste system, but India has multiple faiths that are very superstitious and believe in rituals and in certain ideas. Sikhism really try to veer away from that and just try to get into practicality of practicing faith. So the turban is by far the most distinguishing factor that you'll see of Sikhs. 99% of people that you will see wearing a turban, really in the U.S. or anywhere in the world, will probably be Sikhs. In the Middle East, turbans are worn in a very different manner. Their Sikh turbans are much larger and have more structure. And so in the Sikh faith, you're not baptized at birth. You go through you become baptized when you are personally ready for it. So once you're baptized, you are not allowed to cut your hair because it's seen as a gift from God. So the turban was a way to practically keep your hair tidy instead of letting it loose. But on a bigger scale, it was at that time in India in the 1600s, turbans were worn only by royalty. So it was kings and princes. So the 10th Guru said everybody, any Sikh will wear a turban to rebel against this idea of hierarchy, and also to really show that, all right, Sikhs even then and now are really a small portion of the overall population. But even if you're standing in a crowd of 1,000 people, somebody should be able to recognize, hey, that's a Sikh, and I Sikhs believe in equality. So if I need help, I can go to this person. So so if you were ready for that commitment, and we're not fearsome of the repercussions of it, then you donned a turban, and so you're proud of what you're wearing, and you're ready to uphold what the turban and the faith meant. Gurdwara is our place of worship. So Guru, it's two words. Guru, Gur means Guru. Guru is the idea is Guru means to have the knowledge of God, and Dwar means door. So it's the door of through the doors that you enter and you're in this place of worship. It's like, as I said, it is anybody of any faith, of any creed is welcome. In the U.S., services are typically just on Sundays, really. But there are larger communities, California, New York, where temples are open 24 hours. And these community kitchens are also open 24 hours. So there's people that are volunteering there at all times. The Golden Temple is the highest and holiest shrine within this Sikh faith, our equivalent of Vatican City. It's in the city of Amritsar, which is in Punjab, very close to the Pakistan and India border, and it has four. When I'm talking about doors, they put 4 doors around it, one on each side at the time, to symbolize that anybody can walk in from any side of any faith, and it's open for everybody. And it's surrounded by a large pool, and so it sits in the middle. The major kind of holiday day of faith for the Sikh community is Vaisakhi, which is the day that Sikhism as a religion was formally created, formally established by the 10th Guru. I say it's a historical and religious holiday because religiously, it's a day the faith was established, but historically, Punjab, where the faith was founded, is a agricultural state. Pretty much everybody there is a farmer, and that April 14th is the start of the Indian calendar Vasak month, which is the month that harvest, really wheat harvest comes through. So it's when farmers are very excited for their crops to come in. So it's just a naturally exciting time of the year. So that's the major holiday for the Sikh faith. Sikhs have really been in the U.S. for quite a long time, early 1800s, and in this map kind of shows Sikhs have spread out quite a bit since the early 1800s. A lot of that was the Sikhs had joined the British Army as the British Empire was leaving, and so some of them migrated to other British states, Canada and England, with army. A lot of it was labor, the country, companies that needed labor, and then it was just opportunity. At the U.S. is the land of opportunity, so they really the west coast of the U.S., California. Sikhs have been there since the late 1800s, primarily in agriculture. The first gurdwara in the U.S. is that bottom left picture. It was in Stockton, California, 1912, and that congregation was, walking there from a 100-mile radius. So Sikhs really throughout. Sikhs have been in the U.S. Army for a long time. That middle photo is Kabir Singh Thind. He was the first Sikh in the U.S. Army, and he actually he fought. He had a case that went all the way up to the U.S. Supreme Court. There was an idea that at that time anybody that was in the Army was granted permanent status in the U.S. and but it excluded Asians at the time, and so he fought pretty hard for that. Ended up getting a PhD from Brown and settled actually in upstate New York. And then 9/11 is certainly the most significant moment for Sikhs in U.S. history. It was really up until that Sikh identity was, Sikhs at that time in the U.S. were very passive. The idea was, work hard, keep your head down, don't speak too much because you don't want to cause issues, and that's a mentality in a lot of Asian communities in general. But 9/11 kind of put the spotlight on Sikhs because of the turban. A few days after 9/11, the first kind of hate crime in the U.S. Victim of hate crime was a gentleman down in Arizona. He had a gas station, and then in 2015 in Oak Creek, Wisconsin, there was a shooting at a Sikh Gurdwara where eight people were murdered. So so as primarily, Sikhs certainly have a unique visual appearance, and that leads to misconception. But now there's a more conscious effort to better explain our identity and explain. And at the same time, the idea has never been, hey, we're Sikhs, you're looking for the other guys. The idea is to open people's minds and give better understanding of the world in general. So it's not, hey, push the blame on somebody else, leave us alone. It's, hey, we're all humans. So Sikhs in Central PA, developed much later, 1958. So this gentleman in the middle, top middle, we lived in Lewisburg for many years. We moved there in 2000. So we thought there were no other Indian families there, let alone a Sikh family. So, but within a year or so, we would always notice this older gentleman walking around, and we had no idea who he was. So, anyways, he found us through the yellow book and just ended up coming to our house. And so it was ironic that one of the kind of the leaders of the Sikh faith in for U.S. history happened to live in Lewisburg, like 4 blocks from us, and was a retired Bucknell professor. So he was really he came here in 1958 and said at that time, really the only Sikhs on the East Coast were in New York, and they were mostly here for PhD positions or education or some sort of professional job. The early 90s is when a big push really started coming in, families moving out from California. That's how we were originally living in California. And my dad moved out to South Carolina in the in 1991, just for, better work opportunities. Now they're really in pretty much every industry. Currently I say Cumberland, Dauphin, York, maybe Lancaster County, the heart of central PA. There's probably about 1,000 total Sikhs here, which is a massive increase from what it was about 5 years ago. So really in the last 5 years, it's been a lot of families moving in from New York, New Jersey, Philadelphia, larger metro areas that have found that the cost of living is significantly lower here than those areas. Better job opportunities, better business opportunities. Much larger area for kids to grow up in than constricted spaces. So the last 4 or 5 years have been a big boom. The Sikh Gurdwara for Central PA that services primarily the counties I referenced is in Enola in Hampton Township on Good Hope Road, and it started up in 2016. And so there's another Sikh Gurdwara in Bethel on I-78 called, and that's a much older Gurdwara. I think that started up in the mid 90s, but that services the congregation of kind of Allentown and that region. So the congregation here is growing enough to make use of this temple. So a good chunk of our congregation is children, is youth, under the age of 20. So it's a great opportunity, at least for at least within the school districts, for the children to explain who they are. And I have come to know that CV school district is much larger than what I grew up. I went to school in Lewisburg, and it's significantly bigger and much more diverse now. So we're certainly excited to see our youth kind of grow and interact with their fellow students and fellow community members, and kind of help better explain the Sikh faith. So we certainly work with them, and there's a Sunday school that's well established now at the Gurdwara, where they learn the language and how to play musical instruments that we use, and just how to better explain themselves. That's the issue that essentially every Sikh child will always face, is every day you walk out with your turban on, or some distinct look, and how do you explain at some point when somebody says, not even in a confrontational manner, but just in general, hey, what is that? Or why do you wear that? So and I've come to find kids that really don't know the basis for the turban or the reason they grow their hair. Those kids really have a tough time explaining why, and then kind of start disconnecting from the faith. So that was really Sikh History 101 in a very concise time. So I think I just ran over a little bit of time. So
okay, that's okay. There are some questions in the chat. The first one, hang on, let me scroll up a little bit, was from what it sounds like you grew up in the US. Would that be, or did you come?
I did. Yep. Yep. My brother and I were born in just north of Sacramento, California. So my grandfather on my mom's side came here in the early 70s and was a farmer. So yeah, we grew up here, and yep.
Do you ever go back to Punjab as part of your
I do.
religion?
Yep. Now, I was, since COVID, we would have probably gone 2 times already, but usually at least twice a year we get out there. My parents probably a little bit more, but yeah, we try to go back, and I still have a lot of cousins and family out there. My in-laws are all over there, so I have even more reason to get there. So yeah, we make as many trips as we can.
And one of the other questions, well, actually, it's a twofold question. How do women participate in this Sikh religion, and are they recognizable by their dress?
So women at this at that time, there was a notion that in other faiths, in Hinduism in particular, that women are not as superior as men in terms of faith. So at the same time, Sikh said that's not true. So we were initially talking, but all Sikhs, all males, in order to eliminate the caste system entirely, all males were given the last name of Singh, which means a lion, and all women were given the last name Kaur, K-A-U-R, which means queen. So it entirely eliminated the caste system. Women also wear turbans. I think in the bottom left picture you'll see that women do wear turbans. And equally, presently in Sikh faith, a lot of people don't have turbans because they've assimilated in whatever they felt comfortable. So they've cut their hair, and those people equally participate in the faith. So the idea is not that only baptized people can participate. It's you're a student, you're a Sikh as a student, so you're constantly evolving and learning. And so yeah, so women, you'll see, some will have a turban, some will wear like in that middle bottom left picture, the girl is wearing a turban, but she also has kind of a cloth. They'll cover their hair in cloth, and some don't do anything. So all Sikhs, for the most part, you might notice, will have a steel bangle. This is one of the 5 tenets of our visual appearance. Long hair is one of them. So that's probably one of the more recognizable items. The bangle just means it's supposed to show that God is infinite, so there's no end and beginning. So the bangle will probably be the most visual appearance if you don't see a turban.
So before I get to District Governor Anthony's question, because I want to tag on to his, another question came up. Can you please talk a moment about the reason for the dagger?
Sure. Yeah. So the dagger, is one of the 5 articles of faith, including the bangle. So once you become baptized, you're supposed to carry a dagger on you at all times. The dagger present, in modern times, is a dull, 4-inch blade, and some don't wear a dagger at all. They'll wear just maybe a 2-inch kind of what appears to be a dagger. So they'll wear around their neck as a necklace. At the time of formation, the idea was to make sure that you are able to defend yourself and anybody that you see that is being given a hard time, and in the 1600s or 1500s that you see is being harassed. So it was an idea of, and at that same time, the only people that carried swords were kings and princes. So the dagger was supposed to symbolize your commitment to defending the weak. But presently, the idea is still the same. So it's the daggers are all dull blades now. I know they're TSA friendly enough that that you can put them in your carry-on as long as they're as recognized. A lot of Sikh groups have worked alongside them. So that's the purpose of it, and to kind of show that you're committed to defend the weak and anybody in need of assistance.
So to District Governor Anthony's request, would you have an interest in sharing this presentation across the 42 clubs in the district? That's his question.
I certainly would, and I appreciate even this opportunity, and I hope in some degree is insightful and helpful, and it certainly helps me out as well because it gives me a better opportunity to really show that I can explain the faith. So I certainly would love that opportunity.
So John, I will forward you his email contact, and then you guys can hook up and chat. And then my question to you would be that we would love to have you as a member of our club. Your beliefs and your tenets align with Rotary's. So I'm putting it out there that if you have any questions, and
I would love that opportunity. My kind of introduction to Rotary was through Iqbal and
Iqbal.
Yeah, so I don't know if he's online now or not, but no, Iqbal certainly been a huge is a big brother to me. So he's helped me kind of see the area and the groups that are working hard on a daily basis. So and Rotary is exactly how you said it. Very much is in line with our tenets and just what a good human should be doing at all times. So I'll certainly chat with you offline to see what the process is and get on board.
Does anybody else have any questions? You can unmute yourselves if you do. If not, thank you so much for a presentation that I think shared a lot of information and enlightened us. And now when we go out into the community, I know I won't feel quite as like, what the heck are they doing?
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
And that was the purpose of it.
Yep.
So thank you. It was really excellent. Greatly appreciate that. I think we usually end it with the four-way test, but does anybody have any questions club-wise real quick before we do the four-way and then send each other off for a good day? No? Okay, so we'll end it with the four-way. I'm not going to put it up. You all know it. Of the things we think, say, and do, everybody, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all concerned? And I think this chat today, this presentation today, is that personified. So thank you very much, Dalsher. I hope everybody has a wonderful day and a great weekend, and we will all be in touch. Be quiet. I don't want to ding me out too hard. Have a good one, everybody.
Thank you.